and then put his glasses on. If you could, please put yourself in the position of this defense team and Mr. Combs. How would they be feeling here with two guilties? And I should mention they carry potential sentences of 0 to 10 years. So he could be facing criminal prison time at this point. Put me into their mindset right now. How are they feeling about this result?
They are high-fiving each other. This is a huge win for the defense. These transportation to engage in prostitution counts, Mann Act counts, don't have a mandatory minimum. Given his prior history, he doesn't have any prior convictions. He could get away with time served, even a couple of years. I mean, this is one of the best possible outcomes that they could have hoped for. You know, the sex trafficking and the...
And then put...
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
All right. Hey, what's going on, family? This is Tyler from Nopickspodcast.
Hey, guys, it's Angie.
Hey, guys, it's Chelsea.
It's your man, Gio, back visiting again.
Thanks for joining me tonight, y'all. Listen, we really had to get something popping tonight because I felt like this was a situation where we needed to. All right, so all right, recap. All right, Diddy was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. All right, those were the things he was found guilty on. The counts he wasn't found guilty on was racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking Cassie, and then sex trafficking Jane. Right, he wasn't guilty on any of those, and those were the ones that was like, hey, this dude will get roofed, right? He'll do like basically the rest of his life in jail, right? So he got exonerated on those 3 charges, but he was convicted on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. All right, so I can get into what racketeering is and what the sex trafficking is under the law, right? But initial thoughts. I want initial thoughts starting with Chelsea, right? I want initial thoughts of the Diddy verdict. What's your initial thought?
I don't know. It's kind of not surprising that he didn't get charged with the more serious charges. But
so why is it not surprising? Like what makes you say, okay, well, this is typical?
Because it's Diddy, and people were probably scared of him, and he probably used his money to pay people off. And
okay,
I feel like the amount of evidence in the trials and stuff, I don't know how he wasn't charged with like the sex trafficking of Cassie or the racketeering. I don't know.
Okay,
it's like surprising, but not at the same time.
All right, fair. All right, G. So what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on the Diddy verdict?
So yeah, I it's it went to exactly the way I thought it was gonna go. Right. After initially seeing the trial, I felt as though we were just watching Diddy be exposed for being kinky. Now, let me separate the 2 things. Right. The video with Cassie and him being abusive and stuff, I do not. I know that's domestic violence, but that's not what he was on trial for. So it's not like they were saying like he was on trial for domestic violence. They were saying that Diddy was like some big monster who was sex trafficking and moving people state to state, and he had this like organization of just vileness of just mishandling people. And what we came to find out was that Diddy was just sexually deviant, and they wanted to embarrass him because the charges that he just got convicted for, he's just being charged with. I just want you guys to remember, a couple years ago, the Patriots owner Bill Belichick got charged with something similar, and it just went away. So this was just another example of embarrassing a black man, stripping him in front of society, right? Because everything that I'm not trying to make this quick. Everything that Diddy did, right? I'm not condoning. I just don't knock another man's yum. I'm just saying that there's no way that like Diddy is the only person that's behaving like that. With that amount of power. So if Diddy doing that, imagine what they doing. And we yet again watch another black man. Bill Cosby got exonerated too, right? Like if people still call him Bill Cosby rapist, his case got thrown out. But there's another example of like, you can be innocent, but we're going to show the world that like, you're guilty in our eyes. So,
all right. And so what's your thoughts on the Diddy verdict?
I'm not surprised at all.
Okay.
I agree with parts of what Gio was saying, in that they exposed another black man for and putting the narrative out there, but I don't think that makes him innocent. I think him and Bill Belichick should go to jail.
Okay. All right. So my opinion is this was in line with what I thought was going to happen. Well, actually, I thought he was going to be 100% innocent on it. I didn't know that transporting prostitutes to engage in prostitution was a crime. I thought prostitution was a crime. I didn't know if you take them somewhere, then that's an additional crime. but no, this makes sense, man. This to me, this makes sense. Like, okay, so the crimes that he was
Was
the
it
other
just
crimes that
he took them there, or that he took them there under his directives? Is that what the trans?
well just transportation.
So, like, if I was a
It's just
prostitute and you took me downtown, you would be guilty.
that's a charge. Like, no, well, I mean, I guess the difference was across state line. So if you're in like Miami,
okay,
and then like I'm like, hey, prostitute, hey, come to Philly, and then you're like, oh, okay, cool, I'll come to Philly.
okay,
You can
but
be like,
you
all right, cool.
orchestrated it
Like,
by saying, "Hey, prostitute, come to such as."
yeah,
okay.
you accepted the offer by accepting money for in service of your vagina. So yeah, I mean, I guess I started the conversation, but you also agreed to the terms.
Yeah, I'm not asking that. I'm asking about the person that's he was charged with. He was charged with saying, "Hey,
transporting a prostitute," basically is what it was. But like, so the ones that he got exonerated on, right? So I printed some stuff out, right? I got some war room stuff, right? So racketeering conspiracy is what he beat, right? So racketeering conspiracy, this is often associated with racketeer influence in corrupt organizations act, RICO, right? So that's the RICO charge that he was facing. So RICO involves engaging in a pattern of illegal activities for profit, often through a criminal enterprise. So it's not hard to believe why he beat that case, because he's not making money from the freak offs.
Right.
If anything, he's spending money during the freak off. So it's not a profitable organization.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So he's not selling Cassie or Jane for a profit. He's spending money on the prostitutes to bang them. So so he beats that because there's no financial benefit to these freak offs, right? It's just he just like G mentioned, you just a sexual deviant, and you're on some sexual deviant stuff. You rich doing sexual deviant stuff. So I mean, it makes sense why he beat the racketeering charge, and that carried like a damn near a life sentence, right? So that was the RICO charge. So the sex trafficking charge that he beat. So he beat sex trafficking for Cassie and Jane, right? So sex trafficking involves commercial sex acts induced by force, fraud, or coercion when a minor is involved, or when a minor is involved. It's a serious federal offense with severe penalties, including lengthy prison sentence. The Mann Act will addresses sex trafficking, especially when involving interstate, interstate or international transportation or coercion of individuals. So the jury was like, no one was coerced. Like they decided to be there on their own free will. So G, you jump in, like whoever wants to jump in from that point. Go ahead,
because I've been hearing a lot of rhetoric from the women folk with the whole like, oh, Diddy and his power and all this other stuff. And there's this narrative that persists that like Cassie and them are these victims. Like in the studio before, right? We saw the other video and they were talking about victims. Don't nobody want to talk about like we really have to identify that these women, right? Like Diddy's power is what drove these women to him. So don't like try to spin it and be like, oh, well, he was using his power to manipulate them. The only reason why Cassie said she text Nicki Minaj and said, hey, get out. She said, stop complaining. I said, damn, they was like, damn, Nicki a bad friend. No, it's not. She telling you the real. Somebody else is going to replace you. That video of Cassie, right? Everybody, y'all all outraged. Oh, Diddy should be in jail, all that stuff. There were so many people that had to pass that tape through that like it's probably mandated reporters that saw that same fucking tape and didn't do anything, right? Like we talk about this power shit, but people do shit for money, and that's just society, and that's what they sold out for. Like Cassie wanted to be famous, and would like she could have walked away. She had a decision to make the same way Jane.
Hey, G, let me say something. The post office always hiring, nigga.
Always hiring.
The post office always hiring, nigga.
So when it comes to this to this money shit, bro, like listen, they're victims of the pressure to do something. That's what they victims of, right? And Diddy's a victim of the same fucking system. He's a victim of the same system of the drugs and all of that, right? Like if they throughout all of those reports, they talked about how much drugs they were using. Diddy's a fiend. He's a rich fiend running around doing stuff. That's the only difference. But we don't give them the credence because he got the power and he got the ability to do that stuff. But then when he hurt somebody else, now it's all bad, man. They ain't victims, man.
Listen, bro. Let me say this, and ladies, y'all can jump in at any point. I have an issue with this. I have an issue with when. All right, we got to pick a lane, right? So let me ask the ladies first. All right, Chelsea Ange, are men and women equals physically?
No.
Okay. Are men and women equals mentally?
No.
No?
I don't know how to answer that. What do you mean mentally?
What do you mean? It's pretty clear. Like, are we of the same intelligence level? How about that? Yes or no?
Some men are smarter than some women. Some women are smarter.
No. Some men are smarter than other men too. But in general, not in every single case in the history of the world. In general, is the average man smart, just as smart as the average woman, or is the average woman just as smart as the average man?
I don't know the answer to that.
You know the answer to that. Okay, so this is why, like, are men and women equal? How about that?
No.
Okay, so are men of a higher caliber than women?
Depending on what we're talking about, yes.
I'm talking about intelligence. Are women just as intelligent as men? This is pretty clear. This can't be more clear.
If not more, yeah.
If not more. Okay, so they could be even more intelligent, right?
Possibly if they had more educational experiences in teaching. Like, I don't.
He's setting us up, Ange. Just be
Okay.
careful.
I mean,
so if women
it's
are
entrapment.
just as intelligent as men, how is it that women just get the benefit of the doubt of just like, oh man, this man just took advantage of me because I'm just this dainty lass and I have no idea what's going on in the world. If you're just as smart as me, how am I capable of tricking you into doing things?
Because that's why I asked what level of smartness, or like what is the scale in which you're like.
It's pretty clear. Like
because
say,
women are more emotional than men.
No. I'm not. I didn't even say the word emotion. I just saying,
I am though.
Okay. But y'all champion the fact that y'all go to college and excel scholastically at higher.
It has nothing to do with emotion.
I didn't say anything about emotion. I said nothing about emotion.
Well, I'm telling you because we're talking about the victim and how I perceive the argument of like, oh, Diddy, and not just him, but like men with power in general and coercing women to do things and making them feel emotion played a part in the decision making in this situation.
Okay, go Jay.
And in any situation.
But I think Ty's question is like, so if men, the argument.
You know my question. She just.
I know.
I hear your question. I'm not even trying to be difficult, but I feel like. Yes, what you're saying is true. Like women and men have the ability to make choices. They are both capable. They use their brains, blah, blah, blah. Not blah, blah, blah to discount it. But I'm talking about the fact that these are two people in a relationship. They had emotional ties. Like emotion. We can't have a discussion about Diddy and Cassie without talking about.
But then you saying they two people. So then if you saying it's two people and then they just in a toxic relationship, it's not a victim. They're both victims, right? Like if you're going to look at it like that way, and like they exposed that Diddy was doing just as much drugs, and he been like everything, yes. He was as toxic. Like he would go and be like, "I love you." She exchanged in the same behavior. Mm-hmm. There's no victim. He just happened to have money.
I'm not. That's not the argument. The argument was whether or not emotion was a part of it, because I said emotion.
No. That was your argument. That was your own self-imposed argument. I never even said that.
Yeah, I wanted to try to kind of elaborate, right? So I think we're trying to like figure that out, right? the argument is often that women are smarter than men, right? Like there's that argument,
Yes.
women mature
Very often, actually.
mature faster than men, etc. Like,
oh
right
yeah,
now,
they mature
if
faster
we-
than men,
like,
right?
I
about
saw
that
a
shit.
post. They was like, they
mean-
flexing on women. Women, they own this number of homes. They got this number of degrees. Right? There's kind
Yeah.
of this us versus them
They be
narrative,
clocking
right?
tea and shit. They be doing
Yeah.
all that.
Hold on. So wait, real fast. Real fast. So the question is, right? The question, and it's somebody else, like it's another quick clip going around where it's similar, but the question is, if that's the case, how do men keep capping y'all out of stuff? How do men like manipulate these women that are so intelligent to do these things if you
fucking
are
question.
so intelligent?
Because
Right?
emotion is involved for women.
Is that maybe this is
No,
the
no.
argument that we're
I-
trying to run around in circles because we're talking to two men. I'm a very
What'd you say?
intelligent person. If we take an IQ test, when we took 2 IQ tests, me and you, Gio, could have the same exact IQ. Mine's could be higher. But if I had an emotional connection with you, you have one up on me emotionally. Like once my emotions become involved, no matter how many degrees I have, if I love you, then that could
But
drive
hold on,
my
so-
decision making in a different direction. Is what I'm trying to
Okay,
say.
so does that make somebody else responsible for your decision making because you are making
the person manipulating the situation,
before you answer,
Tyrese, stop with the face.
I hate it.
before you answer, wait, because you said like you said yes, right? How? Like, listen,
I don't know.
you smart,
It's
you
hard for me to
smarter. So
explain it, but I
I'm not
do know it to be
manipulated.
true.
I'm a
I'm a victim
human.
of it.
I'm
I know it to be
human.
true.
Diddy, listen, and this is the thing where you talk about the emotion, right? Like, because then you talk about manipulation. Diddy can be like, yo, like, stop messing with me. And you with the emotion, Cassie, like, oh, no, baby, I love you. It's nothing I can do. And you're going to say, I still manipulated it. Like, as men, bro, I've been in situations where, like, yo, I've told her to leave me alone. She don't listen. And then now, like, I get bored. I'm human. I mess up sometimes. But I'm going to be the fucking the abuser, the rapist, whatever. You're going to be the victim because you can't control your emotions. That's childish.
Because you
That's
just love
childish.
so hard.
Emotional regulation is a part of personal development. It is literally the first thing they teach you is that you have to learn to control your emotions or they will control you. If you take any like mental health, so what you're saying is immature women who are emotionally unregulated
I don't think that
make
there's
bad decisions.
I don't think it's unregulation. I think it's in some cases taken advantage of and used against them.
No, you cannot.
Listen,
I'm not
G,
responsible for how you feel.
Give me a
I'm
second.
not,
That's
you're
your
not
thing.
responsible for how I feel. I didn't say that.
G, give me a second. Give me a second.
How is that
Give me a
my
second.
fault?
Give me a second. Give me a
Because
second.
once you say, all right, so listen, once you tell someone, hey, leave me alone, and you know, at this point, you know that leaving you alone is the best thing to do, even if you know that said person won't do that. You're engaging her, you're continuing to engage her, knowing puts you just,
Nope.
I think it puts you
Because
at
I
liability
got
as well.
emotions and I'm human.
All right.
That's why.
And it comes
So
with
there
the
is no
responsibility of knowing.
victim.
Let me jump
There's
in. Let me
just
jump
both of us being human, just
All right.
fucking up.
Okay.
That's it.
Let me
That's
jump
all
in.
it
Let me
is.
jump in. Hey Chelsea, you got anything to add? Because I don't want to drown you out the conversation. I got some stuff I got to talk about. Go ahead, do your thing. If you want to,
You
say
heard
something.
Chelsea, tell me you
All
hear
right.
me.
I'm sure.
I hear you.
I'm sure she
Yeah.
does. So listen, this is
All
my
right,
issue.
Tyrese.
This is my issue in general with females, women, is that they enjoy a privileged position in society. What do I mean by that? What do I mean is they can be equally empowered and equals to men, but they're also at the same time equally victims. And that shit pisses me off. Because if something happens to their detriment that they should have used their fucking noggin to figure out, it's like, I'm just a girl and I got all these emotions, guys. Oh my goodness, what am I? I just got this vagina and these tatas. Oh my, what do you expect of me? You expect me to use my brain? Oh my goodness. No, yes, we expect you to use your goddamn brain. Guess what happens? If I win the lottery and I win $100,000 and Gio and I hang out, and G's like, hey, you know what, Ty? Listen, bro, I got this business idea coming up. Bro, can you give me 80 grand? I give Gio 80 grand. Gio takes the 80 grand and blows it on strippers and coke. But then I come to the internet and I'm like, no, listen, y'all. Gio took advantage of me, blah, blah, blah. That ain't cool. He took advantage of our relationship. He took advantage of our long friendship since college. From now, guess what the world says about Ty?
You a sucker.
You a fucking sucker.
You a sucker.
You let him use your...
Go get it back in blood.
You dumbass, you let him use your relationship and your love for Gio.
I would have never gave him money.
You a suck. Now, Gio's also a scumbag. Gio's a scumbag for using that relationship against you. But at the end of the day, you fucking knew better. You sucker. But if you flip the reverse, and I'm a woman, everybody's like, oh, goodness. How could you do this to her? She didn't know any better. She's just a girl. That shit's annoying as shit.
I don't agree with all of these statements. I'm just going to chime in, throw that in there. Most of them, but like I don't agree with all of it. All right,
bro. But you know the idea. The basically the whole Cassie thing is, she's just a girl. She has a huge heart.
No,
she didn't do all of this stuff. She just loved that guy more than life itself. God damn it.
Listen, that Cassie situation, right? Like the Cassie situation, any situation with a celebrity is hard for me. I'm very like I got daughters, so I'm very like if somebody's a victim, hear them out. If my daughter tell me she's in Bill Cosby room at 12 o'clock at night, I'm gonna be like, why? What you doing there?
You asked why you victim blaming? Like, you scumbag,
no, I'm not victim blaming. I'm just not playing
that's
the game
victim
of
blaming.
You don't know what's going on. And so Vic, like with Cassie, the texting back and forth. Listen, the physical abuse is bad, bro. I don't condone that. Like that video.
Listen, nobody is claiming Diddy is a good person. Everybody is claiming Diddy's a scumbag. Nobody's claiming that. My issue is that when people were like, all the things that Cassie and Jane did were because Diddy wanted them to do it because they just loved them so fucking much.
Nah,
you're an adult.
Ty, let me come
and do big girl shit.
I wanted to, so I had this thought, and I want you ladies' thoughts, right? So, like, this whole thing, it was revealed to me that I felt like Diddy got like exposed for being like kind of homosexual, right? And this is
for sure.
But in a society where we tell people to like be open or whatever, right? Like, did you see how people responded to Diddy being kind of like gay? They like, oh, you gay, nigga, we knew you was gay, right? Like, it's like, like we know you was gay. So, like, how do you women perceive that, right? Like how, and it's mostly women too. I want to point that out, right? But how do you guys see that in society? Like where we saying, all right, everybody be open. This was just a side point, right? Everybody be open, do all that, right? We always talking about this LGBTQ shit, but then the moment we found out like somebody like that's powerful and black is gay, like, oh nigga, we knew it, you gay.
Facts.
So yeah, if y'all can just chime in on that. I was just curious. I was thinking about that. I think it was like interesting to see how we respond because that was like the big thing. It's like, oh, this nigga gay, he like come and all this other stuff, and it was like, I thought everybody was supposed to be cool.
Cum? Is that what you said? Yeah,
he's
gay. He like cum.
He like that shit. That's his thing. But I'm like in my brain, bro. I'm like, everybody supposed to be cool with like everybody being gay. Like you supposed to like it's not supposed to be a big deal, right? It's supposed to be like, oh, he gay, like whatever. But as soon as we found out he was like a little bit gay, everybody was like, "Oh, nigga, you gay."
A little bit gay is crazy.
No, if you found because if a guy's a little bit gay, he gay.
Yeah, like that's why it's funny to hear you say a little bit gay. What is
but then you gonna say you're horrible, bro.
Listen, bro. If you suck a 6-incher, you gay. You suck a 3-incher,
you're
it's like
gay.
But that's like
it ain't get to the back of the. It ain't get to the mucus back there.
I know I asked y'all a question, right? But that was kind of the point that I was bringing up is like these double standards, right? Where you talking about like Cassie and like the victims and all of like, there's just all of it, right? Like there's a double standard when it comes to shit. They were just freaks. This is what I came to the conclusion of, right? That Diddy probably, right, when in his youth was a regular little boy from New York, right? He got into the music industry and then they exposed him to coke and gay sex, and he liked it, and he ain't tell nobody that he was around at first that he liked it, but he was like, oh shit, I like this shit, and he kept getting more famous, and he was doing it behind the scenes, and then he met Cassie, and he was like, yo, I think this little bitch a freak. I'm gonna see if she liked this shit, right? And he showed her, and her little ass liked it. He was like, she liked it, and she said it, and he was like, I found me another freak. I found me somebody that's like me, right? and he doing coke. So sometimes he bust upside his head, right? Upside her head. Like people on drugs do that. No, it really is. I look at
right.
I grew up around my mom and my dad. My dad never hit my mom. I didn't even know my dad hit my mom until they told me about it. When they said when they was on drugs, they used to fight. Like my dad broke my mom. Right. I would never look at my dad like that.
Let me ask you a question. You know what? Let me ask Chelsea this question, because Chelsea been quiet for a while. Listen, what's the persona that you have of Cassie in your head? Was Cassie like was Cassie in a corner for her 11 years with Diddy's relationship? Oh my God. Okay, Diddy comes in this room. I'm just so scared. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Or was she, was she enjoying the jets, the fucking lamb, the jet setting, and all this stuff, and the freak offs just came with it? Which is the more likely scenario in your head? And how do you see Cassie? Was she just like in a dark room?
Why are you making it so far left? Why are you making it so far in a dark room in the corner shaking versus openly cool people putting in her mouth? Like, come on.
That's the idea that a lot of women have of Cassie, is that she was just like so terrified, and like her whole life was just like, oh my God, can I go to the DMV? Will he kill me? Oh my God, like what? Oh, okay, all right.
I don't think it started that way.
Okay, so you do think
I think she got herself into things in the beginning and was okay with it.
So do you think Cassie was doing those things because she was terrified of Diddy, or she did those things because she either wanted to satisfy Diddy because Diddy was her man, or she wanted to do him herself? Or did she do those things because she was just terrified of Diddy? That's my question.
I don't think she, maybe in the very end, I don't know, but I don't think for most of it she did it because she was terrified of him.
So
she chose to date him.
So you think she chose to do those things to either satisfy him or because she wanted to do those things?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Ange? So was she terrified of Diddy? That's why she did all the things that she did.
Your absolutes are sending me to the moon and back.
I mean, I think this is a reasonable question that I'm asking.
I don't think that she was made to do all of the things. I think that it started off fine. I think that she was in agreement. I think that a part of her may have wanted to satisfy her man, as we all have. I think it grew into something that became out of control. And I think fear could have played a part in it, because yes, he was going upside her goddamn head. So yes, there could have been I'm doing this out of fear part. There could have been I'm doing this out of fear of losing everything. We don't know what was on the line. Like we don't know.
Well, she could have got a job. She could have got a job.
I mean,
I mean, she could have. Listen, we're in the age where women. Listen, she could have became the next Diddy.
All right,
okay. You only do what you're willing to tolerate. Okay. So there was a point
to do absolutely all of it. He didn't force her to do none of it. She was down with everything.
I mean, but force is such a strong word, bro. Like when I think of force, I literally.
I don't think that he was like. I think, like I said, I think that it started off consensual. I think that it escalated into something that she may have wanted to refrain from, but by then they were too deep into it, and that's the part where he probably used his power to manipulate the situation however it went. I don't think that I don't know. I wouldn't say he didn't or did force her. I don't know.
So I think it's a deeper question, right? In terms of like those abusive relationships, like mental abuse, physical abuse, like etc., right? But what you often see is that like the victim,
emotional abuse, if Tyree says it. So there's only
emotional, right? But yeah, all of that, all of the above, right? But with that, right, the victim themselves has to have to come to the point to where they like, all right, well, I no longer want to tolerate this. I don't want to deal with this. Like, you can't force somebody out of that situation. Their self identity has to come to the point to where they are tired of it. And I understand that part of it. Like, Cassie may have a damaged self-identity, but I'm curious is like, how responsible are we for other people's self-identity? Like, if you come to me,
depends on the gender,
and I can, but that's the question, right? Like, if
depends on the gender. If it's a man, Listen, nigga, suck it up. Go kill yourself.
I mean,
there are other people that wouldn't
kill herself.
There's other people that wouldn't tolerate it. Like they would, like when Diddy would have presented that to them, their moral compass, their self-identity would be like, bro, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm doing. Right. And so like for Cassie to even consider it. So then it's like what you said, like, oh, she gonna risk losing everything. She wasn't willing to risk losing everything to do that. So she made a decision, right? She's smart enough to know she made a decision like, yo, I want to keep being famous. I want to keep these things around me.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
To Dubai.
I want to keep doing. So like, that's weird. Like for us, it feels it's
I don't
want to
go to Atlantic City for spring break. I want to go to Dubai.
I'm gonna feel like I'm victim blaming, and I want to feel like I'm sympathizing.
I mean,
but it's so hard because it's
some type of psychological part to it. Like she literally tried to end her life. So even if she felt like, oh, I'm doing this because I want to go to Dubai and not Atlantic City, there was definitely some psychological aspect to it because you can't do none of that shit if you're dead, and she'd rather be dead. At some point, she was so. Whatever.
That's internal though, sis. That's her. If you want to kill yourself, right? Your dialogue, your self-dialogue is jacked up. That don't got nothing to do with like Diddy. Like you could be in abuse. It's people that want to kill themselves that aren't abused. They're loved. Right? That's your internal dialogue.
We're not talking about them. We're talking about this woman in this situation that we're talking about. We're talking about what her trigger was, which was the situation with Diddy. She wasn't.
I'm saying
that's
that
what made her
it wasn't.
Herself.
There's a part of us that like there's a part of us, and this is for Cassie. Her identity at that time was attracted to that toxicity, right? Like she created that life. We all are like, you know, I'm all the, you are the creators, most creative creation. Some of us are stuck in that toxicity because we think of ourselves that way. And that like that's why she was there, right? There's a victim of it. Like she thought that it was okay. She looked at herself as a possession at some point, and until she was able to break free from that, it don't matter how we view it. It's her, and she may be a victim in a sense, but she's a victim to herself, her own way of thinking, not to Diddy.
Right. My thing is this with the whole victim thing. Like I don't believe that. Like able-bodied adults can be, you know, in a whatever relationship, and they just be forced to do something crazy unless there's some kind of mitigating circumstance, right? So if you tell me take Diddy out of the situation and you put Tony Soprano in it, then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see why she was terrified, and you know, what I mean, she couldn't go to the cops or whatever because it wouldn't matter. But if Diddy would have went to Paris one year in those 11 years, I'm sure he went to Paris, and she was in LA or somewhere. And she would have called the cops and been like, yo, let me get an order of protection against Diddy. Do you think that wouldn't have went like every blog wouldn't have picked that up? That wouldn't have been like went like global, and if Diddy or someone connected to Diddy would have been seen on the same block as Cassie, then it would have went to like fucking TMZ. Then he would have got thrown in the jail in the bottom of the jail.
And if you say no, just remember that she bribed the nigga for some money right before this shit happened. Where it's like, yo, act right or I'm gonna reveal all the shit I know about you.
Like it's
like she knew at any given time I could have ruined his life, but she didn't because it was convenient. But then when I needed some money, hey man, be careful. I know some shit about you.
I don't buy that. You know what I mean? People could be like so sucked into any situation that they could be talked into doing things that they don't actually want to do. Like I don't buy that unless the person's a minor, and you like groom them and you put them in a basement and you're like, okay, now you're 30, now I'm telling you to do stuff. But if you're a grown adult and you got a functioning brain like everyone else, I don't like. Listen, there's nothing that anyone can say to me to make me be like, yo, like I give this example all the time. I worship Jay-Z as a kid. I still do. I think he's the best rapper to ever be born in Earth. Now, if you take me to a Jay-Z concert and Jay-Z be like, yo, Ty, suck me off, I'm gonna be like, no, Jay, I ain't doing that. That's not happening. Like, I'm sorry, I love your music, but I'm not sucking you off. It's hard for me to believe, but if I'm a girl, it's like, and I suck him off, it's like, he used his power against me. Oh my God. Like, oh, I'm just this like dainty lass. I'm just a girl. Like, get the hell out of here with that bullshit.
Well, there is I'm sorry, ladies, we've been dominating the conversation. Y'all can chime in. I think I've been saying so much. They're just like, let these niggas cook. They over there bashing the women. Motherfucker.
I'm not bashing women, bro. I'm against non-accountability.
So can I ask a question?
Like, yo,
let's try to make a dialogue again, right?
I wanted the Punisher to destroy my insides. That's what you should say. Hey, I wanted the Punisher to remove my gizzards. Like, okay, cool. Then I get okay, cool. Do you want him to remove your gizzards?
Nobody in this, I don't think anybody in this panel was saying that Cassie is this dainty lad and all of these extremes that you go to prove your points. I think that we're agreeing with you, but you're refusing to understand or even accept the fact that there could be a gray area. Like, you're like all or no. Like,
I don't see gray.
You don't see gray. And I think that's where the
I think she made her decision when she decided to get gangbanged. She said, hey, I want to get gangbanged.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't see
oh my God, I'm so scared of Diddy. I gotta get gangbanged or he's gonna kill me. I don't think she said. I don't think that thought process went in her head.
Okay.
Well, so I think that like my question, right, was about the how do we approach that? How do we approach that, like, to give women their full independence of self-governance and their
I don't think they should be giving it then.
And their ability to like process and like listen. Hold on, Ty. I'm trying to get them back in the question, bro. I'm trying to get them back in the conversation. I really want to know, right? Because I'm a man and I don't want to victim blame, right? But there are often times where I'm trying to find like the balance. So how do you ladies suggest we as men go about being understanding, right, of the emotional aspects and manipulation, but also acknowledge the self-governance, the
take notes,
self-identity that comes along with the independence that women have been fighting for so long. How do we balance it out, right? So one, again, and I'm making it shorter, women independence over here, right? And then women victimization over here. Like, how do we bridge that gap between, like, all right, y'all are, how do we do it? Because I don't know how.
Good question, fucking professor. Listen, this would be a question that
what you got
for
me,
the
Chelsea?
Class will fail. I'll guess what gender that would be. But anyway, go ahead.
What you got for me, Chelsea?
Let me say this. Tyrese make you not want to answer the question because he's just like, oh my God. I think that it's like you're scared to even say anything because you know he's about to rip you to shreds. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm going to say what I'm going to say regardless. That's just
it is
me.
what it is. Huh?
But what I think, like, I don't know what the answer is 100%, right? I only know how to conduct myself in situations and in relationships as a person. And I think that there's a mixture of, like, this new idea of, like, gender roles and what you're responsible for within a relationship, right? And I feel like as men, there is a level of power that needs or that can be easily taken advantage of if you don't understand your power or the abilities that your power can carry over your significant other if you guys are locked in that way, right? As a woman, I feel like, or as women, like, if I'm aiming to please my partner, right? That's one of my joys, right? I want to see my partner happy. I want to please him in whatever way that I can. And that's my responsibility as his woman. And that can be easily taken advantage of by the man because that gives you power over me in a sense. But if I choose the partner wisely and I choose the partner that is trustworthy enough with that power, then you're taking advantage of it is not something that I'm worried about. Now, yes, it puts me in a very risky position to be taken advantage of because once I give you that and I do, and I give you the ability to tell me what you want and want to please you as a woman, because that's my role and that's what I understand my role to be, and that's what satisfies me, it puts you in a position of power. Can we agree to that?
No, so
I want to please you, and you know that's what I want to do. That puts you in a position of power at like black and white. Yes or no?
No, Angela, I'm gonna disagree. You have the same power. Everything
I'm not, now,
that
if you
a
say,
man
yo, if
does,
you let me jump off this roof, I'm going to say
no.
no.
It's not. That's the exchange of a relationship. That isn't a power. Everything that I'm doing is driven for my woman. So she has a certain.
Because we want to please
how
you
many?
too.
How many men are sitting in jail? How many men are sitting in jail right now because they crashed out for a woman?
I would argue most of them.
You know what I'm
I would
saying?
argue most of them.
Like you want like they crashed out for a woman. So like your argument, it places a responsibility on men. You started the whole thing with like there's a certain power right, that men have, right? Okay, if we're going to acknowledge that power, you have to be willing to acknowledge the power too.
I'm not
So
saying that I am.
What I'm not, but what you're saying. So there's an implicit amount of power that men have in relationships, according to you. If that's the case,
And
right,
I too have power.
but then society has to just kind of what you the way you started it off was as if it was a fact, but it's not. It's equal power. It's the exchange. But if the woman is weaker, right? If she doesn't know who she is in terms of her identity, if she's moving under the impression that she has to please him and do things for him, she's going to be out of her position. But if you're on an equal status, like brother, I'll remove myself in terms of equality. Relationships are partnership.
Yeah,
not one over the other. So she's out of her position if she think I gotta do something. No, we gotta do what we supposed to do. It's equal power. You don't have more power over me, and I don't have more power over you.
Yes, I want to please you too. To manipulate and vice versa.
Yeah, so if it cancels out. Hey, I don't just want you tonight. I want you and two other dudes. Okay, that's my decision to make. So, but I wouldn't say you manipulated me into letting two other dudes bang you. No. Like, you know what I mean? That's my decision.
I'm not that type of baby girl. Hey, it was nice being with you. I'm not that type of guy.
But listen, if I did do that, if hypothetically in that situation I did happen, and I let two homeboys dig you out while I'm there watching, guess what? Nobody's like, Tyrese isn't a fucking victim. That's the difference between us. So if you let something crazy happen, then it's like, hey, Angie's a victim. If Tyrese let something crazy happen, it's like, you're a dumbass, Tyrese.
The only power that men have over women is physical. So the only time that I'm going to be I'm going to be women first is when there are physical situations. So physical rapes like that, those like putting hands on somebody, those situations
you can do about
there's
that.
A clear outline of like,
take what I want from you. Nothing you could do.
Yeah, there's a clear outline, right? There's a clear separational difference in the relationships. Like when it's brains, when it's emotions, whatever, we are equals.
Okay.
And then like, but there's an animalistic nature that we have. There's a way that you look at the relationship and which men are like, we got more power, we can be more manipulative. When there are just as many women in power manipulating men.
Yes.
Every one of those escorts probably work for a woman. And those women are being put like they don't get exposed as much because they in power. But you have the same ability if you know who you are, what your non-negotiables are, what you're willing to deal with.
My thing is this: we got to pick a lane, right? So if we operate under the premise of women are just inferior to men physically and mentally, then I'm all on board with whatever Angie and Chelsea are saying. Hey, these people are just taking advantage of us. We don't know any better.
We supposed to lead.
If we want to operate under that premise, I'm fucking understanding of it. Okay, cool. Because every situation I come into with a woman, I have an unfair advantage because I'm smarter and I'm more physically capable. But if you want to take away that and say, hey, we're equal, then that fucking excuse goes away. There is no, hey, Tyrese and Gio are more capable mentally because we're equals. So you got to pick a lane. You can't just have the perpetual victim situation and the perpetual protagonist in the story. No. You got to pick a fucking lane. You feel what I'm saying, G? Like,
no. So we don't talk about this often, right? But like, there's a part of the whole patriarch that was convenient for women that like in their women independence, they've been trying to keep some of that shit that came from it. All that passenger princess shit, all of that, like I'm a kept woman shit. They want to keep that, but they want to go to school and I can go to the bar and I can do this stuff and I'm independent. You can't tell me what to wear. Who are men? So there is some toxicity from that, the whole like the women's movement in terms of like out of patriarchy came some of the most conveniences that you had. Like when you were kept, you didn't have to worry about things. You could do these certain things. Or and then now when you try to tear it down, you want to keep certain shit that make it convenient for you. My mom was like that. My mom drove me crazy. She'd be like, she would tell me I could do the dishes, I could clean the kitchen, all this other stuff. So I'm glad I learned how to do all that stuff. And then it would like take out the trash. I'm like, tell Pooh to do it. She's like, no, she a girl. Oh, lady, you crazy.
Oh,
you
interesting.
are.
How
what
fucking
the
interesting.
hell? No, she get in the trash, mom. I thought we was equals. So the next time. Oh, sorry.
We got to pick a lane. Let's pick a lane. Are you guys physically and mentally inferior to men, or are you guys equal to men? If you pick equal, then if I consider myself a very smart man, okay, but I acknowledge that there are smarter people than me. If someone just as smart as me finesses me out of all my life savings, then guess what? I lost a game. I lost a fair game.
That nigga good, man.
He good.
Damn, man. That nigga good.
However,
man,
if I lose to someone superior to me, then that's unfair. I should be given some kind of extra credit to make that shit up. You know what I mean? Like, but if women want to move, like, okay, well, we're equal to men mentally, because obviously most women will acknowledge, I feel like most reasonable women acknowledge that, you know, women are inferior to men physically, right? But y'all don't want to. If y'all want this consideration from a nigga like me, anyway, y'all gonna have to be like, we're inferior mentally too. Because if you my equal mentally, then I can't outsmart you into doing some shit that you don't actually want to do. Am I tripping? Am I tripping on this concept?
No, Ty, I think we just burnt them out with this one. I think we just burnt them.
You know, AJ, most women don't want to have this. I've had this conversation. Most women don't want to have this conversation because it puts the onus on them to be like, "Yo, do better." They don't want to hear that shit.
Well, so there is, and listen, and Ty, you've seen the transformation over the years, right? There is a lack of accountability within like that audience.
Audience.
Yo, listen. I've been trying. I'm. Hold on. Ty, let me cook, bro. Because I'm about to cook, bro. Because you know, bro. Like, listen. Angela and Chelsea.
Y'all
Angela and Chelsea.
Cook. I'm clear. I think that a lot of this emotion is coming from. It's not coming from a majority. It's coming from your experiences. It's coming from.
It's not experiences. It's objective to that. Listen, this case is a microcosm. Listen, Johnny Depp was the same shit. Oh, what happened when in the beginning of Johnny Depp? Everybody like, oh, he did it. He wrong. Until the facts came out and they like, oh, well, let's not talk about that shit no more. Niggas didn't even want to talk about it no more. The women didn't even want to talk. The men were like, yeah, Johnny Depp, let's high five that nigga. He got off. The women were like, what happened? Who Johnny Depp? I never seen Pirates of the Caribbean before. Who the fuck is that? Like they were acting like this shit never even happened.
There is and society has done this, right? A part of that patriarchal side of it is that women have been allowed to be emotional. You've been allowed to like, I'm emotional, and men are too. That's the the real disadvantage is that men aren't allowed to be human.
Facts.
Like everything that you like, everything that we talk about, like y'all, it's literally everything. Like as much as y'all looking at this Diddy trial, like y'all expose him as gay, like he doing drugs, all of this stuff.
But be emotional, or you just don't have emotions, Tyrese? Which one is it?
No, we're not allowed.
I personally don't have emotions. I think, but I mean,
no, he do. Tyrese is one of the most emotional people I have ever met.
Yeah, I know.
This nigga is the most sensitive person ever.
I know that to be true, but
every person that say that is
he doesn't have any emotions.
But like no, because society. So the same patriarchal society that let y'all be emotional, y'all could be emotional creatures, and you could take a day off, and you had PMS days and all this other stuff. We gotta sympathize.
We're not doing that.
I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying.
It's half the month, right?
I'm just saying that there are certain things that aided in terms of society, like that men were trying to use to make women weaker, but it was just women were human. And then like we paraded ourselves to be we paraded ourselves to be stronger when we're just equal. The only way we're stronger is physically, right? That's the only advantage that we have.
Oh, that's your partner right here.
But he understands that.
He just said he doesn't have emotion. He thinks that he's emotionless.
He just listen, and we know some of the same people. There are some women out here that will say some of the same things, okay? There are some cold women out here, okay?
Yeah. And I have emotions.
That's the game. The reality of it is
you to acknowledge it.
He can't. because you're going to make fun of him.
No, I'm not.
You're going to,
You know what?
if Tyrese was emotional, oh my
I would
goodness,
thank
if he
you
was
for
if he was
that's
soft,
not true. Nope.
y'all listen.
There's
Now
I
again,
just show them when I need to crush my enemies.
We grew up around some of the same people, right?
I think we need to change
the guys that were. I seen how y'all treat the soft guys.
Emotional. The first thing I would do is thank you for being transparent.
No.
I would.
No. I'm talking about like if we lived in our emotions. If we rested our femininity. If we like,
oh my God, this 50 minutes in. This pod is done.
Yeah,
We're done here. We're done.
Men can't be emotional. Period. And that's what decided. Period. If I was all if I got up and I stormed out, you would never respect or acknowledge.
No, and I don't respect anybody that gets up and storms out. If you can't have a conversation about being emotional and speaking your emotions and getting up and storming out are two different things. Yes, they're both driven by emotion, but one is an immature emotion, and you sitting down and saying, "I'm sad. I feel a way," because that's two different things.
If you were to evaluate most of the things women do in confrontation, shutting down, all like it's emotional. It's emotional and it's not logical. That's like y'all were allowed to be too emotional and we weren't allowed to be emotional enough.
Yeah.
And so there's a middle ground in the balance where like we acknowledge our emotions, we talk through them, and we like, hey, this is what I'm feeling, but I'm feeling this way and I'm thinking about it because it may not be you, it may be me. Like how I feel isn't all of your responsibility. It's partially my responsibility. So I got to take some time to reprocess how I'm dealing with this and dealing, etc.
Right.
Because I'm an emotionally developed person. But if you aren't emotionally developed on either side of it, you're going to fuck up your partner. And if you two emotionally undeveloped people, you're just going to fuck each other up. But if you get fucked up as the woman, I'm going to jail. And like nobody's gonna care that I like wasn't emotionally developed. Nobody gonna care that like I never had.
They're not gonna care that you had a rough childhood.
No, listen. I said this.
Kidding me?
You grew up in a one parent household, if you grew up in a one parent household,
boy,
it is more likely that your mom had bad conflict resolution skills than anything else. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. If a man has bad conflict resolution skills, he's going to the world and he's gonna crash out. He's gonna crash out. If a woman has bad conflict resolution skills, she's gonna get Section 8, and people just not gonna deal with her. She's gonna get Section 8 welfare. She will be able to get assistance to raise a family and be quote unquote productive.
Gee, it's bothering me. You're not being a feminist. All right, listen. Let us know what y'all think, family. Like, comment, subscribe. This was a lot. Until next time, y'all.
Oh, I missed the fucking meeting. I'll be all over the place. What's up?